Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over how to improve your running cycle, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab. Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so the main thing that is super important when it comes to improving your speed is really what are you doing with your legs? How can you more efficiently and effectively utilize your legs? I see people all the time that are looking to try to get faster, and there's just so much wasted motion in the legs and the feet, and it's just killing people's ability to run fast and really be efficient. When it comes to sprinting, you got to be efficient. You got to understand what are some of the key mechanics in order to run fast. There's some parts of it that end up going into genetics. People are just naturally fast, naturally able to get a good amount of distance per step. A lot of people do not fall into that category, and a lot of people that are watching these types of videos are not falling in that category, which is why we want to get into some of the basics. This is going to be super complex, but it is really something that is important when it comes to improving your speed. Now, this is a basic start, right? Block start. You don't always start like this, right? So, you could be running the 40, you could be a receiver, you could be a baseball player, you could be a soccer player. It applies no matter what, right? So when you're first starting, what ends up being important is being able to really maximize your leg cycle, right? Make it so your leg is creating the most amount of active work as possible. So we can see that, Usain Bolt really drives his knee in and then pushes out to the side a little bit more here. And same thing here. So see how his knee's coming inwards? This is a good thing for you to be able to implement when you're first starting. This is going to be a little bit kind of laggy here just because this video is a little bit older, but so you can see his knees going in, knees going across, right? But he's really explosive with those hips. He's keeping his head and chin tucked. He's driving those arms all the way back. The elbows aren't necessarily locked into his spine, but he is also not being too inefficient with his arms. He's not putting any additional motion into there. He's really getting a ton of action backwards, right? You got to maximize how much extension you're getting in the shoulder, how much you're bringing your arms back in order to really effectively incorporate that into your stride, right? Into how you're cycling your legs. So, if you end up being short with your arms, you're going to be short with your legs. If you're longer with your arms, you're going to be longer with your legs. So really make sure you're getting plenty of extension. That will help you in being able to generate more force. Again, notice how when he's starting here, he's getting more of a lateral motion in each one of these steps, right? He's moving side to side a little bit within his hips and within his leg cycle, which is going to be something that will help him in optimizing his ability to generate force in the ground. When you're first starting, it's all about how quick you can move your legs, right? It's much more about quickness and how effectively you can put force into the ground, right? So you can see he's really trying to drive down into the ground here on each one of these steps and really being effective and generating more and more force. And then he's patient and getting upwards from that position. So you can see he's still staying with that chin tucked even as he's going right here. Obviously, we're looking at Usain Bolt, okay? And then when you look at the side view here, what stands out is as he's going, we can see, this is super important. We want to get that foot out in front, okay? So I see this mistake all the time. This angle doesn't have, people get stuck with their shin angle like this rather than their shin angle like that. And that makes it so now you're not able to pull that foot underneath. You've got to be able to get your foot out in front so then you could pull underneath with that foot and make it so now you're landing in a way that you can then easily transition off, right? So what happens is when you land with your weight going straight down, it's going to take you longer to be able to push back up. But if you really slow this down, and I have other videos that I've done in the past of Usain Bolt where you could really see as he's hitting the ground here, he's actually almost hitting the ground with his toes facing downwards, heels facing upwards to make it so now he can easily transition right up off the ground on these steps. So he's very, very quick in his ability to spend the least amount of time on the ground as possible, which makes it so now he can utilize his long stride length in making it so he can pick up the most amount of ground that he possibly can, right? So that ends up being the key thing here, guys. We got to be able to understand that the more wasted side-to-side movement that we have, and we'll get into, what it looks like when they're, looking straight on. So this isn't exactly straight, but at the same time, you can see that as he's transitioning through, he's driving, we saw before how he's coming more across, but now you can see he's driving his legs straight through, right? Extending with that foot, driving, and you can see again, how he almost touches with that toe facing downwards, right? There's a lot of people that say you should be hitting the ground with your toe facing upwards, but you can see here, he's actually striking the ground with that toe facing slightly down, so is Tyson Gay, to make it so then when he lands, he can really transition off that foot a lot faster. Most importantly here though, guys, is really understanding that you don't want to waste any motion going side to side. The more wasted motion, and take video of yourself. Please take video of yourself or send video in to me. Obviously, we do breakdowns, things like that. But you have to understand that you want to be able to really maximize how your legs are swinging. And at first, you might not be great. You might not see huge improvements when, you really reach out with your legs down in front of you. You might have to slow down your turnover time, right? You might not be able to turn over your legs as fast at first when you reach all the way out with your legs, but as you start developing your core, as you start to develop your posture, as you get more comfortable with it, you'll be able to do it more effectively where you could really reach out in front and then pull that leg back underneath and be able to hit the ground with a lot of force and be able to then transition right back up. Now he's creating a ton of extension in his hamstrings, in his calves, in his glute, in his low back, so he's creating a ton of force here because of how well he's really maximizing the front side mechanics. And you've got to be able to understand the running cycle, the leg cycle from start to finish. Okay, this is where I see the most amount of mistakes, whether it's the start, the drive phase, the top end speed phase. You got to understand how to go from your start, which is where you're spending a little bit more time kind of going side to side. Hips are going side to side, arms are going side to side. You get more of that movement and being able to refine that into something that is just as much of A to B, going straight forward motion as possible. And the more effective you could get at doing that, the better you're going to be as a sprinter, the faster you're going to be, and the more improvement that you're going to be able to make. It's going to take, a little bit of time here, but you're also going to make significantly faster improvements than, people that are just working on squats, deadlifts, things like that, right? When I grew up, that was the thought process. Oh, you're not fast enough? Squat more, deadlift more. And I still think there's people that are focusing on that. The reason I made this channel and it's really started to get deep into sprinting is because it didn't work for me, right? The way that I got into, running over 21 miles an hour was by refining my mechanics. It had nothing to do with improving my strength, speed, or jumping capabilities. None of that ended up being the thing. It ended up being my mechanics that were holding me back from running faster. And a lot of times that's the case for you as well. You just got to focus on it, right? Don't think you need to rear foot elevated, split squat more weight, or, squat more weight or jump higher in order to run faster. Like those things will help, but if your form is off, your technique is off, that is your number one culprit, and that's the number one thing that's holding you back. So, as always, guys, if you like the information, go ahead and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. We have a lot of great things in the description. We have a free speed program. We have a 3-month program. We have a speed breakdown. I'm always adding new things to be able to help you guys out. From a speed perspective, I'm super passionate about improving people's speed. I love when, whether we connect online, connect in person, whatever the case may be. I love talking speed. I love working on speed. And, there's a lot of ways to be able to do it. For everybody, it's a little bit different. So, as always, thanks for watching and talk to you soon.